The electrocardiogram is a measure of the heart's electrical activity. They say that a wave of impulsive electrons is what repeatedly causes the body to breathe. So it's shocking that I can inhale at the edge of the ocean without feeling the salt water sting. A jellyfish swims, an electric eel surfaces for air, yet I'm still too far from you to communicate. Somehow you are both right there and still only a figment of the light waves poking at my imagination. I'd like to think that here, doctors would not understand my ECG. Electrons are not just electrons, and waves are not just waves, but rather a superposition of wave and particle. It only becomes one thing when you give it a name, which is to say, I love you. But at the same time, I only love the single image of your face blurred and split by a double slit that's interfering with my conscience. So when I stand in the ocean next to you, I'm simultaneously infatuated and drowning in the harsh gravity of the moon. My mother told me never to shower during a lightning storm. There was a Monk episode playing on the TV. Something about cabin fever, a radio, and a dead man lost on a lake. Lakes are freshwater, so I'm sure he wasn't in love. But for us, neither of us knows how to live without a coast, so we come to the ocean to feel something. And here, our silences live in the superposition of love and ignorance. To speak would be to measure it, to collapse its waveform onto itself, to make only one thing out of anything, and I'd rather have the lifelessness between the everything and the nothing of a heartbeat than to choose to die by electrocution. There's something simple in not knowing how or when you stopped breathing, but just to live in the superposition of inhale and exhale, to feel waters flood your lungs and cough them out at the same time, to embrace you at 10 feet's distance, to be both the riptide violently crashing into you and the first droplet of water that gently caresses your skin. They say that the body is a better conductor than the ground. They say that salt water conducts more electricity than the pure. So of course, we are one body connected by one wave, because two conducting bodies under one wave is really just one wave, and one wave is one particle, and one particle is one body, and I'm dreading the low tide when all we will be is an entangled pair of distant nothings. When we will breathe together in a closed casket of eroding sand. When you will see me, measure me, localize me into wherever here is, and I will see you. Knowing both how far away you are from me and how quickly you are floating away. They said it was impossible, but we only call it uncertainty when the electrons don't do what we want, or when the electrocardiogram starts to attenuate, or when the tsunami sirens start to blare and all we want to do is disappear before we are overtaken by something that only exists in waves. So I wonder if we can superposition ourselves into our own kind of oblivion. All wave, no particle, commanding some other living entity to breathe as we spread across many dimensions so we can never be held accountable. A systole without its diastole, without the pressure. A wave crashes and my heartbeat stalls. The electrocardiogram is both peaking and zeroed out. I am both breathing and 6 feet underwater. We are both lovers and strangers.